One of the things that's happened to me and I've had to learn to adjust is as I've gotten more educated, I've become more aware of some of the things that happen in 12-step fellowships that just don't kind of are not either scientifically accurate or not really that can be harmful. And one of the things that happens, I notice, is this idea called groupthink. I don't know if you're familiar with groupthink, but for those of you who aren't, it's a psychological phenomenon that people who get in these groups, they close out information. Any outside information that penetrates, they completely push it out. They don't want any of it. They just focus on what they know and where they are. And this groupthink is actually super dangerous. Like if it was a survival thing, like if we didn't take out outside information, like we could end up in really serious situations. I'm not talking about I'm talking more from like an evolutionary perspective, right? So sometimes there's a lot of groupthink that goes on in fellowships, and I think it's a survival mechanism. I think it's this idea that at least this is my own perspective. If I allow outside information to penetrate in, does that mean that now I can change my recovery? And I need to guard my recovery so much that I can't allow any other outside information to come in, because then I'm susceptible to following it, right? Whereas I was able to rectify, what works for you works for you. This is what works for me. It's been working for me for 14 years. I'm not going to mess with it. What you do and how you recover is none of my business unless you want to ask me and what I think. And that's fine. So I'm a lot more flexible. I do follow the traditions. We do have our own pathway. I think it's sacred. Everybody needs their own pathway, whether it's medicated assisted recovery, whether it's faith-based recovery, whether it's abstinence-based recovery. I think abstinence-based should be a protected pathway, right? Like this is how we choose to recover, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, being able to recognize what's going on within certain dynamics, was very challenging for me when I first started.
I think it's challenging for a long time. It's weird because we come in closed-minded. We get the gift of desperation that opens our mind enough to accept something, and then we kind of close it again. And then, thank God, I'm telling you, being on the TikTok and coming and doing these podcasts and meeting Krista and meeting all these different people has opened my mind to so much, especially Matt and Krista. You can jump in here.
Yeah, when you were just speaking on this, it kind of gives me the thought of, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Right.
Because it worked for me. I watched 90-pound girls kick heroin with the Benadryl,
Right.
and my husband could not get it. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? This book
Right.
works. Like, it worked for me. I'm a one-chip wonder. So it worked. They told me, you follow all these rules, you'll never come back here. And I never did. But what's out on these streets too right now is evolving so fast. And I watched this illicit stuff completely take over his brain, and he seemed like a lost dementia patient for 2 weeks, wandering the streets and doing things he would never do. And that's not what worked applying that recovery to the MAT, like some kind of therapy or recovery, was the key to it. But he's on MAT, and first of all, I didn't even know what MAT was. And then it worked for so long, and then it didn't. He's been through a few phases of it, but my mind is so open, especially hearing the stories we hear on TikTok. And everyone's different. Everyone's got different trauma, different drugs, different dynamics, all types of stuff. So it's not all going to work the same, And my
Right.
recovery's evolved so much. It's not just that blue book anymore. It's changed a lot.